Okay, so we are doing 13 knots in a relatively uncalm sea. So if I do get thrown overboard, at least we'll have it on camera. Final segment for today, because we're losing the light again, is market share and some of the companies that operate in the cloud. And, I've already mentioned three big ones. If you look at what we previously referred to as the IaaS layer, the infrastructure as a service layer, the three big companies are AWS, Amazon Web Services. They are part of the Amazon Retail Group. They hold about, as of today, which is January 25, about 32% of the market. They've had a 7-year head start on most of the competitors. They tend to be the preserve of a technical audience. They have got some very good technical services, and so if you're working with technical people, CTOs or technical directors, or new startup developers, they'll tend to be probably preferring AWS. The next one down in terms of market positioning, the IaaS layer, is Microsoft Azure. They've got about 21% of the services in terms of market share, but they are growing quicker than AWS. And if I were a betting man, although I'm not, AWS and Azure will get very close to the same market share statistics over the next 12 to 18 months. Microsoft have got very, very good generalist cloud services. They're probably technically similar to AWS and GCP, but because of the brand they've got and because of the integration they've got with some of the other non-IaaS services such as Office 365 or Microsoft 365, people feel safer buying Microsoft services. So Azure is growing because it's got a very strong brand in the market. Google Cloud Platform, they've got about, from memory, 11% of the market. Again, they've been around for a fairly long time, not as long as AWS, about the same sort of time as Azure. Google Cloud Platform in the IaaS layer are probably very similar to the other two in terms of capability, where I think Google So when you work with real professionals in the industry and they're professional videographers and they do a really good job of editing and everything like that and give you all the best equipment, and then halfway through a real brilliant piece of segment, your battery dies on your microphone. So enough respect to Harry for recovering that very quickly. I think I was talking about Google Cloud Platform and GCP, like I said, in the IaaS stakes, has probably got about 11% market share. Their capabilities are very similar to AWS and Azure. They are a very credible platform. Costs are near as damn it the same as the others. They haven't quite found their feet yet in the same way that Azure and AWS have, from my perspective. I'm sure people from GCP watching this will hate me saying this. Where I think Google are going to get really strong is in the world of data and AI. Google are very well known for having very good search platforms and really good services that are hinging on accessible data. And as AI and machine learning services evolve, and obviously Azure and AWS have got the same, I think Google have probably got more smarts in that regard. And I think, despite AWS making significant investments in companies like Anthropic and Azure making significant investments in OpenAI, I think GCP will come to its own over the next few years and their market share will grow because people will look to them to be, hopefully, the market leader in data and AI-related cloud services. Anyway, slight tangent, but I'm a bit of a fanboy of Google. I just don't think they've quite got their IaaS proposition yet. But, so 65% of the market is covered by 3 companies. And from a procurement perspective, that's not ideal. You've got real supplier concentration, and it makes it difficult to shop around. And they're all, in IaaS terms, pretty commoditized, so much of a muchness in terms of what you get for your money. But when you start talking about the sort of broader market, there's probably not that many others. The rest of the world contains companies like IBM, who have been in the cloud market since God was a boy, but just never quite seemed to get the brand traction that AWS and Azure did. You've got companies like Oracle. Now, they're not so much in the infrastructure space. They're very much at the platform level because of their database heritage. But again, credible services, but not quite as prominent as Amazon or Microsoft. You've got people like Alibaba. Now, they've got globally a big market share because obviously China is a big market. Alibaba are the Chinese equivalent of AWS, if you like. So there's a big cloud infrastructure there. But again, in UK market terms, not that big because people have some nervousness about some of the geopolitical implications of working with Chinese companies in that context. And then you've got a whole raft of others that, at an IaaS level, provide very similar services. But if you're buying AWS, Azure, or GCP, you're in the top 3 suppliers. It's not a bad place to be. As you go up the stack, the PaaS level is a bit more difficult to describe, largely because it depends on what you're buying. I tend to focus on database as a good, solid PaaS level. This is the platform as a service level. And I think that's because, all applications or most applications need a database. And so in that context, the big players are Oracle, I've previously mentioned. Microsoft have got a plentiful PaaS services, largely based around things like SQL Server. And, there's loads of others as well. Again, from a database perspective, you can buy Oracle or SQL Server, which are probably the 2 biggest database platforms, as a service across pretty much all of the other cloud platforms. And then you've got SaaS, and SaaS is bazillions of different companies, all offering different sorts of software. So probably the biggest one that most people would have heard of would be Microsoft 365, which is Microsoft's Office tools offered as the cloud. But you've also got other platforms such as Salesforce.com, which is a CRM platform. You've got things like Netflix, I've mentioned previously. You've got pretty much Xero as Xero is a financial accounting tool. There are so many different SaaS providers. It's quite difficult to sort of pick ones that have got good market share. And in procurement terms, if you're looking to get a view on market share, you need to think about what function that SaaS provider is delivering in the same way you do if you're researching a particular bit of software that you're looking to buy. A little bit about software as well. Pretty much all software providers now are offering a cloud platform. So, the world of buying perpetual licenses and then being, available forever is a thing of the past. Most software companies have realized that their company has more value if it's got regular recurring income. And so they are moving on to a cloud-based model. The one thing to bear in mind, though, is that cloud-based license terms can contain some horrible things in there, such as auto-renewal, such as difficulty of termination. So, when you're looking at software licenses and it says it's a cloud model, you really need to think, okay, do I really need a cloud model? What is the cloud? Where it's delivered from? All those sorts of things. And they're all the risks that we spoke about previously. But in terms of the market, like I said, at the IaaS level, pretty simple. You've got 3 companies. They're doing 2/3 of the actual market, GCP, Azure, and AWS. At the PaaS level, it very much depends on what you're looking to buy. But, depending on what you are buying, it's probably going to be 1 or 2 big companies, such as Oracle. And then, in the world of SaaS, you're very fragmented and depending on what software you're looking to buy. The market generally at the moment, is fairly commoditized across the IaaS layers, like I said previously. I don't think it's going to get a lot cheaper. Famous last words, doing predictions. I think what people are now looking for is better functionality, higher security, quality of service, resilience, etc. On the SaaS levels, the wind's changed and we're rolling around a bit. It's beautiful. On the SaaS levels, we are, I think there's still a way to go. Not many people are pricing. There's not much competition on price. This is really more about, for SaaS, am I buying a bit of software that's delivering the business process that I want to do? So most people select a product based on what functionality it's got and then work out what the price is afterwards. But, the market's in flux. It's about 20 years old, like we said previously. It's still got a long way to go to actually settle fully. IaaS has pretty much settled, but PaaS and SaaS have still got a little way to go in my view. But, so you're buying cloud services. If you follow the golden rules, what am I buying? IaaS, PaaS or SaaS? If it's IaaS, am I buying from the top 3? If so, it's fairly safe. If I'm buying PaaS, am I buying what I really need? Will it work with all the other things I need it to do. You need your technical guys to comment on that. And if it's SaaS, is it going to support the business process that it needs to at the right price point in a way that can understand how I'm being charged?